trivia for A View to a Kill. 1985's A View to a Kill, originally titled From a View to a Kill, but quickly changed.
Lose from.
Doesn't begin with a pre-title sequence, but a disclaimer that Zoran Industries is fictional. This was due to a real company with a similar name, Zoran Industries, spelled with an A instead of an I, which ironically still exists and is headquartered in Silicon Valley, where they make microchips. What is also interesting to note is that the name Zoran, as the real company is spelled, is derived from the Hebrew word for silicon, Tozaran.
If there's a letter difference, there's no lawsuit, right?
When they made the film and they were creating when they wrote it, they didn't know that there was an actual company named Zoran. So they were like, the fact that it was a company that was also a Microsoft company and everything
If only
else.
they had the internet.
Yeah. They didn't know that, internet? So when they came up with the name, they were like, oh, crap. So then they had to put this disclaimer in the beginning of the movie.
So this company was active in 85.
Yeah. It was created in 81, still going on today, makes microchips. Nice.
Is there another story called From a View to a Kill, and that's why they dropped from?
I think it was just easier to say A View to a Kill than From a View to a Kill. But if you watch The End of Octopussy, they title it From a View to a Kill, and they changed the title to A View to a Kill.
And they also work it in the dialogue in a natural way. Yeah, there's no way you can say from in that scene.
What a view to a kill.
So speaking of characters named Max Zorin, he was originally cast to be played by David Bowie, but then he was dropped because Bowie didn't want to just watch his stunt double do all the cool stuff. So they got instead the talented Christopher Walken, who everybody
power.
loves to intimidate.
That's the most Walken delivered line in the whole movie.
More power.
Oh yeah,
it's like really he breaks character and just becomes himself in that moment.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, Tanya Roberts, the female lead, is playing Stacey Sutton. Had played the main character in the last season of Charlie's Angels, but most people our age all know her from that 70s show as Donna's mom, Midge. Interesting enough, in an episode titled The First Time, Midge and Bob renew their vows, and all of her bridesmaids are former Bond girls, including Maude Adams, who makes a cameo, supposedly, in this film at the wharf dock scene. However, there's a lot of scrutiny behind this claim, so some people point out this one person in the background during that scene, but if you look at it carefully, it's not. Also, like it's on the bus or when he's walking.
Maude Adams doesn't ride the bus, bro.
No, they're all these people coming off the bus.
She played a fisherman.
Maude Adams' boyfriend is in one of the scenes, and Roger Moore is like, yeah, that was Maude's boyfriend, and him and Maude was visiting the set that day, and they were like, oh, we'll just be in the movie as background. So she was in the background, supposedly, but they may have just cut the scene that she was in or whatever. But anyway, yeah, Maude Adams was maybe in the movie, but no one's 100% sure on that.
Somebody would have found a screenshot by now and posted it.
There are screenshots that say, "Oh, this is Maude Adams," but some people have been like, "That's not Maude Adams."
Yeah.
So while we're on the topic of Bond girls, you can recognize the beautiful Ginny Flex as Allison Doody. It's her name, who plays the equally gorgeous Fräulein Elsa Schneider in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Cue the clip.
Touch me.
Not that clip. Not that clip.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I have to say this, but who would not join the Nazi party if you could get yourself that Fraulein? I know.
She's the top of my list in this movie.
How did you know she was a Nazi? She talks in her sleep.
Which one are you talking about?
Jenny Flex, dude.
Jenny Flex.
Remember when the bodies are floating by and she's like, Jenny! And, Bond's like...
It's too late. Leave her. There's nothing you can do.
I almost went into Connery. Mayday, she's dead. She's fucking dead.
So, speaking of Mayday, Grace Jones, actress, singer, and model, plays the henchwoman Mayday. Jones at the time was dating actor Dolph Lundgren, who was on set when a background actor didn't show up, so director John Glen put him in the movie as one of General Gorgle's... Gorgles? Is that how you say his name? Gorgles?
Gogol.
Every episode, we're like,
goggles?
Goggles? I always get it wrong, but he's the henchman in that scene when the general first shows up and he's talking to Zoran. He's the you can obviously tell who it is. But yeah, he's in the movie.
He doesn't have a line, and I'm curious, when did Rocky IV come out?
Rocky IV, release date November 27, 85. So right at the same time.
It's interesting because he's so easy to spot out because it's like that's Dolph Lundgren. Like,
yeah.
And then, but he doesn't have a line, so you almost think that this is earlier to where he wasn't a big actor. I mean, Rocky IV is a big deal.
Yeah. And then speaking of General Gogol.
Like Google, but Gogol. Google.
I swear there's an R in there.
It's Gogol. Gogol.
So Gogol's female agent James Bond rendezvous with was originally intended to be Agent XXX from The Spy Who Loved Me, Anya Asimov.
No way! I was gonna say, guys, wouldn't that have been cool had the KGB agent been XXX?
The bubbles tickle my Tchaikovsky.
This must be the inspiration for the Austin Powers scene, right? With a lot of vagina or whatever.
Yeah, but of course, Barbara Bach was too busy with her man, conductor of the Shining Time station, Ringo Starr.
I'd like to be under the sea in Octopussy's garden in her bush. It was clearly motivated by XXX reprising a role. Mm-hmm. And without her reprising a role, it does kind of feel like something's missing. Like, why are we wasting our time with him banging this really sexy Russian woman? For Bond to accomplish this task, he takes the tape from the Russians. In rewrites, he could have simplified it, but just having Bond listen
make
in.
The tape or something.
Yeah, it does show that the KGB is trying to take him out.
That's the point of that scene, though. But it's like, but I see what you're saying. It's like you could have simplified it, but I do like that it ties the Russians more into the story, which makes it a little more interesting for me. Like Honor Blackman and Diana Riggs, before him, we have another former Avenger from the British television show joined the cast in Patrick Macnee's performance as Sir Godfrey Tibbett. I saw this casting in much the same way that Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood describes TV show casting back in the 60s, where they would get a star from the 50s to be like the villain of the week for that movie or in that episode. And then that character would be basically facing off against this other character. But instead of facing off, they're teaming up. So in this one, we have Simon Templar's The Saint, which was Roger Moore, teaming up with another British secret agent, John Steed from the Avengers, which is Patrick Macnee. And then this one I'm going to steal from Scott. I don't know, Scott, if you know this story or not, but the theme song to A View to a Kill, it's probably to me, it's like the second best Bond song next to Live and Let Die as far as just memorable, and everybody remembers this one because it was
up to this point,
song.
Or
I think up to
general?
This point.
Okay.
Up to this point, it's like the second best or
up
one
to
of
this
the
point
best.
for sure.
Because I'm always going to want the one, like I will always opt for, like I said before, Bond songs are really sexy, big horns and all that. But
but this,
I prefer the high energy ones that get you pumped up.
Sure.
And
this one was just
gets you moving.
80s.
So good.
It's what I mean by that, it's just as popular music for at the time, and even now, like people still remember this song. Particularly, it still plays on the radio today. But it's View to a Kill was written and performed by British new wave band Duran Duran. So the story goes, bassist John Taylor was at a party with Cubby Broccoli and drunkenly asked the producer, "When will you get someone decent to write the theme song?" And that turned
and Shirley
into...
Bassey was right there, and she threw a drink in his face.
Yeah.
And that turned into, of course, them getting the job. So lesson learned, always ask stupid questions when you're drunk to bigwigs, because you never know. That might get you your next job. You never know.
I always do.